Hey guys, how's it going? It's Pierre from Solomon Firearms Training. We're back at our SFT Entrepreneur Business Network. Okay, this is part two of our video, and we're going to continue. So the first video we talked about how to choose your own business, how to decide what you want to dedicate your life to, and how to pick your passions and things like that. So now in the second video, we're going to be talking about the official legal formalities of forming a business entity. There's a couple of options you have. There's varieties, whether you're working for yourself, you're working with other people, the type of business that you're doing is also going to dictate the format that you're in. So today we're going to be covering the legal aspects of being an official business and getting an EIN number and things like that. So I'm going to be going ahead and once again turning off the screen, and you're going to be following me on the web. Feel free to take your pen and paper and write down all these things, okay? Thank you. Start by going to mass.gov. Okay, so I always like to show the sources of information and things like that, so you guys are empowered to do things on your own and do your own research. So here we're just going to type in mass.gov how to start your own business, right? Business. All right, so I always have a hard time spelling that. So now we're gonna go ahead and follow. So as you can see here, I'm on the web. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the different entities that you have. So here they have a 12-step plan, as it seems right here, of all the different ways to plan for your business. I don't necessarily think this is the way that you need to start and follow, but that's okay. So as you can see here, they have a variety of steps. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump to step number 6. Okay, so step number 6 is choosing a business structure. Okay, so I think that's important to kind of figure out how you want to do that before you do all these different things right here. So once again, I don't think there's a specific order that you need to start your own business. I think you just kind of go along with the flow and how it goes. Okay. So what a lot of people don't know is that, like, when someone says that they start their own business, right? There are legal things attached to that. Okay, so there are legal things in taxes and court and things like that. So there are a couple of different entities. So entities is basically the composition of something that is not yourself. Okay, so for example, Solomon Firearms Training is different from Pierre Solomon. So it's a different entity. It's a different being. It's a different it's a whole different, yeah, it's a whole different being. All right, so the first one is sole proprietorship, right? So that's what most people start off. So basically what this means right here is that there's no difference between you and your business, all right? So usually when people start as a sole proprietor, it means that there isn't a legal difference. So when somebody files their taxes, they're all gonna be under one person, and there's really no difference. You can still get what's called a trade name, which is also known as a DBA, or doing business as. So you don't have to have your business in have your name, so you can make up a name and stuff like that. So sole proprietorship is what most people start off as because they don't have the money to pay, or they're still figuring things out. One thing that I don't want people to do is spend a lot of money on getting legal things set up and then not necessarily having a plan or knowing where to go with the direction. So I think you should always start your business part-time. Maybe it's on the weekends or in the evenings and stuff like that. Still maintain your full-time job and slowly graduate into running your business full-time, because you want to grow and you want to jump in it in a safe and healthy manner where you can still pay your bills and live life and stuff like that. So sole proprietorship means that there is no legal difference and no legal entity. So partnership is also known as an LLC or LLP right here. So this is a limited liability partnership. So now when you have an LLP or LLC, that means there is a legal protection. There's kind of like this veil of protection. So let's say I was teaching a safety course and I accidentally shot a student. If I accidentally shot a student, if I'm here as a sole proprietorship, the person can sue me personally. They can take my house, they can take my car, any type of assets that I have, stocks, money in the bank account, right? Everything is fair game when I'm being sued. When you're an LLP, a limited liability, or a limited liability LLC company, right? So that means you're by yourself. The difference between these two things is that so an LLC means you're an individual. LLP means that there are multiple people that are in the company with you. They have legal ownership. So when you're actual a company or LLP or LLC, you have a veil of protection. So if the same situation happens where I accidentally shoot someone in my class, that person can only sue Solomon Firearms Training. So Solomon Firearms Training is a different entity and being than Pierre Solomon. So they can't sue me for my personal assets. They can only sue what the company is worth. So if the company is worth $500,000 and I got all these cars and buildings and things that are assets and that are worth money, people can sue, and basically anything that's owned by the business is fair game. So one of the benefits of being an LLC or an LLP is you have that corporate veil of protection. Also, people look at you as if you're more professional. So those are things when people look at you as a sole proprietor, they're like, okay, he's not really that serious about business. He's just starting out. He's a small business. When you're getting into this, you're paying $500. So it's $500 a year to become an LLP or LLC. It's not hard. And then you officially get an EIN number. So EIN is basically an employer identification number. It allows you to go and get like business loans and things like that. Most banks and businesses won't loan you money or won't invest in you if you're not an official company and things like that. So this is what they're talking about here, and it tells you right here too, you can be personally liable for debts and things like that. So yeah, so what Solomon Firearms Training is, we're an LLC, we're a limited liability company. It's a totally separate entity from Pierre Solomon. I chose to have my last name as my company. You can choose to have your name differently. So I could have named my company something cool like, I don't know, tactical shooter guy or whatever. So you'll see people go and they'll put different names on their company. So this is basically what they're talking about right here. There's a separation between business assets and personal assets. Do be aware that there are times where the corporate veil can be pierced. So sometimes, like if you're filing for a loan and you're signing off, sometimes the banks or the company will tell you that you're personally guaranteeing this money. So we've taken out small business loans before, not a lot of money, and then I had to sign saying that, hey, if the business failed, I still had to personally pay for that. So be careful in the contracts that you sign and things like that, because you might be waiving away your rights and that protection of the limited liability company. And also, there's been other situations where the veil has been pierced and stuff. They showed where the person was personally negligent and things like that. But for the most part, you do have a lot more protection than if you're a sole proprietor. Then things start getting a little bit complex here, right? So you're going into corporations and C corps and S corps and things like that. So a lot of these companies has to do with the taxation. So one thing that I didn't talk about is when you're an LLC, for tax purposes, everything is combined. So I'm a single member LLC, meaning nobody else is in the company. So when I file my taxes, they group all my income together. So I get income from the military when I was working my security job and I was doing my business. It was all compiled into one. So for tax purposes, the IRS still doesn't see a difference between you and an LLC. So here you're the S corp and C corp and things like that. This is when you start getting into like public entities and things like that, and things can get very complicated. These are things that if you are going to, depending on what type of business. So for a lot of small businesses that are doing simple services or selling simple products, you're probably not going to be using any of these. But if your business is a little bit more complex and you're searching for huge investors and things like that, you might want to have a business that's an S corp or a C corp, because you might want people to be able to buy shares for your businesses and things like that. So it's a little bit more advanced, and you definitely should take the time to go ahead and and read if it's right for you. Like I said, if you're a simple small business, you're most likely not going to be using that. You're not going to have to pay out investors and things like that, and people who have a stake and hold in the business. So S corp is another one, and then you have B corp, and then closed corporation and nonprofit corporation. B corp, I don't know too much about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stay away from that. Obviously, you can go ahead and you can read up on it and things like that. So nonprofit is obviously a big one. Some people do want to start non-profits, but do understand that there are limitations as to what you can do and not do. So obviously, if you're a nonprofit, you get some benefit and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't have to pay taxes on items, and you can get donations and things like that. But there are things that you are excluded from doing, and there are things where you're mandated on doing. So you want to be careful to see if a nonprofit setup is actually right for you and your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. So you want to be careful when you're applying for a nonprofit status. Just make sure that it's the right fit for you. Okay. And then right here, so basically this is the breakdown. So a lot of people are not aware of the types of business structures right here. So this breaks it down really simple for you here. So so it has little charts right here, the liability, right? So unlimited personal liability, unlimited and stuff like that. So they try to break it down for you in a manner where it's helpful and easy. So you should take the time to go and read through all this. I've went and I've Googled, how to start your business, how to do things when I first started my business, and a lot of the information online is kind of the same thing. You're not going to find much variation. People are basically saying the same thing in different ways. So one thing I wanted to talk about here is the SBA. So the SBA is the Small Business Administration, okay? They give you free advice and stuff like that. So you can go down, especially for you guys in Boston, they have a lot of different locations where you can go and you can, get free advice, and they have programs and things like that. So those are your different business entities. Getting a federal and state ID, so that's something that's important as well. So if you want to get a federal state ID number, okay, which is what I was talking about earlier, EIN, things like that, you just go ahead and you follow all these links, all right? So you can go. So I want to keep the video short. On that, I don't want to jump into too many different things. So this video was basically talking about choosing your business structure, right? So we're gonna do some more specific videos about other things and whatnot. So go ahead right here. So now it's up to you to go and research and see what business structure is right for you. If you have any questions about an LLC or how I did things, I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right, so the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to register as an LLC here in Mass. This is specifically for MA, but I'm sure your state has a respective process and things like that, so you can go ahead and follow along. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click register as an LLC right here on mass.gov. Once I click search, you're going to see right here where it tells you you're going to click on that first link, and then they're going to say, hey, limited liability company information. So here it's going to give you all the info. And basically the process is simple. You click file online. I recommend that you file online instead of filing on paper, which is just ridiculously a lot longer. They do pay you a fee of $20. They charge you a fee of $20 in order to file online. But basically, if you're forming a new entity right here, it just says right here, filing online system. You click here for a new entity, and then basically it's going to tell you the articles of organization. So you'll see a lot of companies or banks, when you're working with them, they might ask you for an articles of organization. Basically, you're picking and choosing which entity you're going to start off as. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to pretend like I am clicking for an LLC right here. So boom, And basically you're just filling out the basic information. You'll see this form. So this will be your legal name, okay? So what you want to do is you want to be very careful on what you're making your legal name is, because if you want to change it within the year, you have to pay another $500. So here you'll see it'll tell you the location of the principal office, the street address of the Commonwealth for which records will be maintained, the general character, all these things. So you're going to be writing the services that you provide. And you'll see terms like resident agent, so which is you as the owner, or if you have multiple people, you'll have to list multiple people. And you're basically filling out this form, as you can see here, step by step. So they do have a title manager. Manager is if you have more than one person. So you have to list all the people that are going to be legally owning the business. So it's not the same thing as you having a helper out, or if your family member is helping you out, they're not necessarily a manager unless you want them to specifically be involved in the business like that. So what you'll see here, right here, and then basically you fill out all your information, and then you pay $500. So that's what they're looking for. So you pay $500, and then you will be an official company. So for those of you that were not aware of how to file and become an official company, you can see here that we showed you exactly the form, where to go. You can do everything online in your bedroom. That's one of the cool things about 2018 is that in this day and age, we don't actually really have to leave our space. We can create all these things online. And you know, my laptop is my life. I literally manage my entire life on one piece of equipment. So that's pretty cool that I'm able to do that, and you know, be in the comfort of my home, or you know, or in my shop, and I'm able to do all these things right here. So once you yeah, so there's really no excuse for you not to go ahead and do all this stuff. So once you officially fill this form out, you'll get an email saying, hey, you know, you got registered for it, they got it, and then basically, bam, you officially are an LLC. What you'll have to do is you'll have to pay this $500 fee every year. So that's 500 big ones every year for you to maintain your LLC status. So that is it does kind of hurt you every year when you're like, damn, I got to pay $500. But that's what it takes to be an official company. So if you're gonna spend $500 on concert tickets or baseball games or clothing, attire, and things like that, then you can spend $500 to become a business owner. So so yeah, so that's it. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so this will be on YouTube and Facebook. So if you go to YouTube right here and you type in Solomon Firearms Training, you will go ahead and you will see that we have a variety of different content. So if you go to playlist right here, we have a playlist of all the different content. So we're trying to be a business where we not only talk about firearm training, but we talk about business services and things like that. So we're trying to be a little bit more complex. I help a lot of instructors start their own businesses, and they're entrepreneurs themselves. So I want to provide resources and services for others as well. So go ahead and click like and subscribe, and then that way you can get our notifications. Once again, it is Pierre from Solomon Firearms Training, and thank you and have a great day.